The Howe Sound Crest Trail is an expert 30-kilometer one-way trail that stretches across the entire alpine ridgeline of Cypress Provincial Park and climbs approximately 2,000 meters in elevation. Due to its length and difficulty, this trail is normally completed in 2 to 3 days. The best time of year to attempt this hike is from July to October, as snow will be present outside of this period. Snow along this trail adds many additional hazards, including avalanches, icy slopes, unstable cornices, and buried trail markers. Therefore, due to these increased risks, BC Parks does not recommend you hike beyond Bowen Lookout in the winter or early spring, unless you have the necessary skills, equipment, and knowledge to travel through snow and avalanche terrain. Avalanche forecasts can be found at avalanche.ca. As with every hike, make sure you carry the essentials, which includes packing warm and waterproof clothing, a good pair of hiking boots, a headlamp, and extra food and water. If you are attempting this trail in spring and early summer, we recommend carrying microspikes. Also, with very limited water on this trail, make sure you carry at least 3 liters of water with you and a means to purify water from the limited sources along the trail. Always check the local Vancouver and Lions Bay weather forecasts before heading off. It's important to remember that you will be venturing deep into the backcountry and up into the exposed alpine, where heavy rain, strong winds, snow, and freezing temperatures are common well into the summer. Make sure you leave a detailed trip plan with a trusted contact. For a quick and easy way to file a trip plan, download the AdventureSmart app at any leading app store. Finally, if you get into trouble, make sure to call 911 for rescue. Now, let AdventureSmart guide you through this challenging Vancouver trail. Although the Howe Sound Crest Trail can be hiked in any direction, this video will cover the most common way to hike the trail in its entirety, south to north. Starting at the base of Cypress Mountain Resort within Cypress Provincial Park, the first section of the trail is well maintained with signage and markers. The trail traverses Mount Strachan for 45 minutes before reaching Strachan Meadows. When snow is present, this traverse passes through 3 distinct avalanche paths, so check and understand the avalanche conditions before heading off. Once you arrive at Strachan Meadows, the trail takes an important left-hand turn. This is hard to miss in the summer, but in spring, when snow is still present, the turn may not be visible, and people commonly carry on down Lemke Creek. The straightforward climb from Strachan Meadows to St. Mark's will take you approximately 2 hours. However, the final section becomes rough and has sections of slippery, unstable rocks and roots. St. Mark's Summit is a common turnaround point for many people and should be treated as your first decision-making point. Take a moment to assess your group's fitness, the trail conditions, and look west to see if any bad weather is coming in. Beyond St. Mark's, the trail is dominated by roots and unstable rocks. As you near Mount Unnecessary, the trees start to thin, and in the spring and early summer, if snow is present, large cornices are common from here until the end of the trail. Make sure to stay well back from the edge, as these cornices are very unstable and prone to collapse. When you arrive at Mount Unnecessary, you'll have a clear view of the trail along the ridge to the Lions. Here, if the conditions are less than favorable, you can take a left and follow the Unnecessary Mountain Trail down to Lions Bay. This trail is very steep and eroded. Make sure you do not accidentally take this trail if you plan to continue onwards to the Lions. To descend Mount Unnecessary, you'll need to use your hands to scramble down steep rocks. The trail then follows a straightforward and open ridgeline to the West Lion. However, be aware of the cliffs and cornices on the western side of the trail. Just before you arrive at the West Lion, you will cross an intersection for the Binkert Trail, which goes to Lions Bay. This trail is steep. However, if the conditions are poor, it makes for a safe option to cut the hike short. If you take this trail, make sure to pay close attention to the orange trail markers, as the trail trends right towards an obvious treed spur. Heading straight down the talus field will lead you into a dangerous drainage. When you arrive at the West Lion, experienced hikers and climbers have the option to take a 1-hour detour to climb to the summit or continue along the trail. This climb involves very exposed sections of rock climbing where a fall would result in severe injury or death. Therefore, we recommend that only experienced climbers attempt this climb and only on dry days. To avoid the West Lion climb, continue north along the Howe Sound Crest trail, as it takes a sharp drop right and descends from the ridge towards the east. You'll need to do a bit of scrambling to get down to the base of the Lion. Here, an exposed traverse will take you under the West Lion to the saddle between the West and East Lions. This is one of the most exposed sections on the trail, so take your time as a fall could result in severe injuries. The next section from the Lions to James's Peak will take you approximately 2 hours. Keep following the ridgeline before dropping slightly to a large talus field. Mind your footing here, as twisted ankles are common. As with all talus and boulder fields, trail markers are difficult to find, so look for rock cairns and orange markers to make sure you stay on track. As you climb to James Peak, the ridge narrows and becomes more exposed, with steep cliffs on your left and right side. Chains have been installed in the last 10 meters to help you keep your balance and calm your nerves. From the summit of James Peak, the trail drops to the left and you lose elevation. However, there is a tricky spur that goes straight north from the peak and is very heavily traveled. Although it looks like the real trail, it only leads to a very steep, slick, and dangerous gully. At the base of James Peak, you can rest at a small meadow before you begin scrambling directly up to David Peak. An old trail drops down and around the peak, but is no longer serviced. If you are using an older map, make sure you have marked the new trail at this spot. The descent off of David Peak can be difficult, as it gets very muddy and slippery. The obvious trail will take you through the Mount Harvey Saddle to Magnesia Meadows. The small tarn at Magnesia Meadows is one of the very few places to get water on this trail. Therefore, people commonly camp here. If you camp here, please pitch your tent far away from this water source. Magnesia Meadows also has an emergency shelter, which you should only use when absolutely necessary. The following day, you will traverse Mount Brunswick. This area is popular with bears, so carry bear spray, know how to use it, and make lots of noise while walking through this section. As you traverse around Mount Brunswick, you'll reach a junction with the Brunswick Mountain Trail. This is a well-formed trail and provides another good opportunity to cut the hike short and exit to Lions Bay. From the Mount Brunswick and Hat Mountain Saddle, the trail finally leaves the ridgetop and drops east through the trees and down towards Brunswick Lake. Brunswick Lake is also a good source of water and another common camping spot. Again, camp well back from water sources. As you continue north, you will have to cross through several small streams before reaching Deeks Lake. Again, a campground at the southern end of the lake is another good option for those wanting to break this hike up. This final descent is straightforward, and it takes approximately 2.5 hours to reach the highway and the end of your hike. Although the Howe Sound Crest Trail is in Vancouver's backyard, don't underestimate its difficulty, as it crosses through challenging terrain deep in the backcountry. Make sure you take the small but necessary pre-trip planning steps. Get the training and take the essential equipment to successfully and safely complete this hike.